So I will be recording this webinar, but it is recorded from now, so you guys got some extra value that nobody else is going to get, okay? So as soon as you take your first slap, okay, some of you lose your optimism at that point. Some of you get more fired up, okay? Some of you go, well, you know what, if that person did join, that person was the one that was going to be my superstar. He was the one that was going to take me to IMD. You know, they told me if I get a good person on the left and a good person on the right, it's payday. And he was the one person that was going to do 50% of my job. If you have that mindset, I am telling you, you're not going to win in World Ventures. Because if you're looking for someone to do it for you, you're in the wrong business, okay? This is not someone to do it for you. You're looking for the leader that's going to build it with you. And the only way you're going to attract the leader to build this business with you is, number one, you got to set the pace. Because the speed of the team is determined by the speed of the leader. And some of you have heard this before, and you're like, yes, I know this. The speed of the team is determined by the speed of the leader. Guys, move faster. And in the meantime, you're doing one presentation a week, okay? The speed of the team is determined by the speed of the leader. If you want to attract someone moving fast into your business, you're going to move fast. If you want to attract someone that's excited, you got to get on fire, guys. You got to ask yourself, okay, and this is where having short-term memory loss comes in handy. And I think sometimes I create that for myself, is have that short-term memory loss of the last person that said no to you. You're so busy showing the next person that you even forgot that person, okay? And believe me, I have that quite a lot, because sometimes I have the situation where I'm literally calling a person that I've shown and told me no, and calling them and inviting them again. And sometimes I get the reaction of going, for City, is this World Ventures? And I'm like, yeah, how did you know? And they're like, well, you've shown me twice. And I'm like, oh, so why did you say yes again? You know, like in my head, okay, I don't understand why some people don't get it. So, you know, my enthusiasm is not getting affected by that, because for me, I know that we found the vehicle that we're going to change millions of lives. Now, some people are not ready to see the light, and that's okay. I have short-term memory loss, okay? And I'm going to sit there and show them again in a few months. And I have my list. My list is absolutely huge. And I print out my list at least once a year, and I make it my mission to speak to as many people from my list at least once a year. Now, my list is 4,500 people, so I would love to say I speak to all of them all the time, but I don't, okay? I try to speak to as many people as possible, and I have a daily goal of how many people that I communicate with to advance my business. So, as the number one thing is that ignorance on fire. Now, if you've been around for a while, okay, and maybe you have all the skills, and you got to catch yourself, guys. Maybe a good way to do that is find a way to record yourself when you're presenting. If you're presenting at travel parties, get someone to record you. Watch yourself afterwards. If you're doing two-on-ones or things like that, record yourself and listen to yourself afterwards. And close your eyes sometimes and ask yourself, would I buy from this person? Because if you wouldn't buy from you, why would someone else buy from you? If you're not looking at yourself and going, you know what, I am convinced, I am solid that this is the best opportunity that I've ever come across in my life. If you don't get yourself into that place, how are you going to convince other people to follow you? So that was one of the key things, is in terms of having the excitement. But I'm not telling you about go out and be excited and be all fake. Oh my God, this is so crazy. And then people look at you like you're a loony. I'm talking about get yourself in a place where you're excited from within. Now, a good way to do that, and this is what I found has always helped me, is that before every appointment, what I do, like, it's different for me because, guys, in the last 9 years, I've had so many blessings with World Ventures to be able to become free, to help my parents become free, to help so many other people upgrade their lives, anything from making an extra bit of income to leaving their job to retiring their husbands, retiring their wives. The gifts have been amazing. But you're probably sitting there and going, okay, Francine, it's good for you because you've had all these gifts. Or maybe you're in a situation where you haven't made money from World Ventures yet. So here's a way that you can get yourself into that place before each presentation. You're about to show to someone, you're about to go do a 2-on-1 travel party guest or whatever. Even when you're inviting, close your eyes, okay? And when you close your eyes, visualize that person on stage, sharing their story and thanking for you for making that call and making the difference in their life. That's what you want to do. Visualize them being on stage, saying thank you to you for changing their life. Now, at the same time, have emotional detachment to the result. And that's one thing that I always do, okay, is that I focus in my head, seeing them on stage sharing their story. But from the other side, I also understand that I can't want it for someone more than they want it for themselves. So you got to be emotionally detached from the result, okay? And you get yourself in that place and you're making that call and you're inviting them and you're presenting, and all you're focused on is making a difference in that person's life. All you're focused on is giving them the gift of World Ventures. People feel the difference between that rather than in your head, if you have your, I need to get one more to get my 4, or I need to get 2 more to get to senior rep, or I need to do this. When you're focused on your goal, people feel it. When you're focused on serving the other person, people feel it. So how do you want to make people feel when they get up and they walk away? Do you want them to feel like they're making the single biggest mistake of their life if they said no? Because you painted a vision of how big you're going to build this and they bought into your vision? Or do you want to make them feel wrong for saying no? Because there's a difference. If they feel wrong for saying no, even if they want to say yes, they're not going to give you a call back, okay? But if you make them feel like the vision that you painted is so big that they're making the single biggest mistake if they say no, then they're going to follow you to the other side of the world, okay? So that's one of the things that that is really important in order to be able to have in your mind. Now, the other thing is as well, and I see this happen a lot, I see this happen on travel parties, I see this happen on 2-on-1s. This is going back to being able to serve people as well, okay? So if, let's say, for example, you're going to sit down and you're going to do a 2-on-1 with someone, before you show the presentation to them, before you share the vision with them, ask them how things are going with them. If you don't know the questions to ask, some good questions is based on forming them, okay? So form, okay? Form is an acronym. And form stands for, F stands for family, okay? So for example, how's your family, how's the kids, okay? Guys, pay attention to what people are telling you, because when you sit there and ask them about their kids, especially if you know the age of their kids and things like that, people realize that you care. Other things, occupation, okay? How's work going these days? Now, when you're asking them, if you listen to people long enough, people are going to tell you their pain, okay? So if someone is talking to you and they're saying to you, yeah, work has been crazy busy and I haven't had time to see the kids, I'm always working late, things like that, they're going to tell you what that pain is, and then World Ventures becomes the cure for that pain. But if you don't know their pain, then how is World Ventures going to become the cure? If you're always focused on your agenda when you're presenting World Ventures and making it all about you, people switch off. But if, let's say, for example, someone tells you, okay, they love their job. Why? Because they love dealing with people. They love communicating with people, and every day is never the same. Okay, so this is the things that they love about their job. And sometimes I ask them, what are some of the things that if you could change, you would change about your job? And then they might tell you that, you know, the fact that I'm working so many hours right now, just had a pay cut, or maybe I'd love to get a raise because the money that I'm getting in right now is not enough, something along those lines. Then when you're about to show them the presentation, just tell them, you know, when you're sharing your why, and if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say 3-step setup, make sure you go into your app, okay? Download the Dream Trips app. If for whatever crazy reason you haven't done that, download the Dream Trips app and go under Rep Tools and watch the videos there on Quick Coach. You know, 3-step setup, edification, you know, all the videos that you need are right there as well. So 3-step setup is what you should be sharing before a presentation. The 3 steps is your why you're doing this, the fact that you're all in, okay? And when you say you're all in, tell them you're booked for momentum in New Zealand. Tell them you're booked for momentum in Athens. Tell them you're booked for momentum in South Africa. Only tell them if you're booked. If you haven't booked, guys, don't be crazy. Just go into your back office and book it today, okay? Because if you haven't booked the training, this is how you're driving your business. Hopefully I don't hit a tree, hopefully I don't hit a tree, hopefully I don't hit a tree, hopefully boom, okay? That's how you're driving your business. You're driving your business blind if you're not booked for the training. And at the same time, if you're not booked for training, how are you going to get people to come to training with you? How are you going to create multiplication in your business if you don't start from adding people into your business, then taking them to training so multiplication kicks in? You're doing it the hard way if you're not booked for training. So when you're sharing with people that are more in, taking this all the way, you're telling them, hey, listen, I'm jumping on a plane. I'm going to Athens. I'm going to, you know, Johannesburg, depending on where you're actually watching this webinar from right now. And I'm looking for the people that I'm going to take with me. And of course, the 3rd step of the 3-step setup is take it away from people. So tell them, listen, whether you get this straight away, whether it takes a little bit longer to click, either way, it's cool. I just want to be one of the first people to share this with you because this is so big, you're going to hear about it from lots of people anyway. Cool? Now, please don't tell people you might like it or you might not, okay? Guys, have you ever met anybody in the right mind, that's important, in the right mind, that does not like to go on holidays? Everybody likes to go on holidays, okay? Everybody likes to go on holidays. It's just some people are not going on holidays. Why? Not because they don't want to, it's because they can't. Hence the reason that their solution of creating extra income, extra freedom is something that's going to give them the solution to enable them to take more holidays. But everybody loves to go on holidays. I was actually speaking to a networker last night, good friend, one of the top leaders in another company. And I turned around and he's become a bit more open. So I was sharing World Ventures with him last night. And I said to him last night, I said, what do you think is the biggest goal that most people in network marketing have, regardless whether World Ventures or not? What is the biggest goal that they have? And he's like, well, that's easy, to create freedom so they can travel. I said, there you go. He said that, and he's one of the top leaders in another company. Okay, so everybody wants what we've got. Okay, so remember what you got your hands on. So in my head, I don't want to plant the seed that you might like it or you might not. You're either going to get it or it might take you a little bit longer to get it. Does that make sense? Okay, so sharing your 3-step setup is key, but I'm going to give you a way that you can take it a little bit more advanced, which is how you form them when you're doing the presentation. So as we shared, form is family, occupation, recreation, and the message. Okay, so recreation, what do you love to do for fun? What's your favorite hobby? What do you get excited about? You'd be surprised how many people say travel. Okay, even if they're done, that's not a problem. The message becomes, when you're about to show them the presentation, if, let's say, for example, I'm speaking to Moana, and Moana says to me, yeah, you know, life has been tough lately. I'm working too much. I don't get to see my kids. I love my job, but they don't pay enough. And, you know, what I'd love to do is I've got this hobby, you know, of I don't know, for example, traveling the world, but because the paycheck is not enough, I don't remember the last time that I traveled. So she's told me her pain. So my message is, you know what? One, I have a feeling that you're really going to click with what I'm going to share with you, because I totally feel where you're coming from. In fact, one of the reasons I became more open is because I was working too many hours, not seeing my family, not spending time with people that I care about, and the paycheck wasn't enough to cover the bills. And I'll tell you what, I love to travel too, but if the paycheck is not enough to cover the bills, you can't even think about travel. So I've been looking for a way to change that, and I found it. Now, most people, when they see this, they click straight away. But if you don't get it straight away, either way, it's cool. I wanted to share with you because I feel you and me are the same. And, you know, if you see what I see, then maybe we can go and build something big, help you get your time back, spend more time with your family. And who knows, maybe start traveling together and seeing the world. So you ready to see what I've got my hands on? And that's the excitement that I'm sharing this with them, guys. I'm sharing that, and now it's not just about, hey, look at what I found. Let me show you what I found and how it's going to help me. This is like, look at what I found is going to help me, but this could also help you. And if they're paying attention from a perspective that this could also help them, it's amazing how they flip and they pay more attention. And you see that when people are engaged and they pay more attention, guys, they're more likely to buy. Now, I've actually got someone here with me as well, and I'd love for her to share a couple of things that she got from acceleration as well. So Melanie is one of our leaders. She was my right-hand person in Perth, okay? And to give you an idea, Melanie has been in the business for about 5.5 years. And when she was in the business, when she saw the business at the beginning, she was working 7 part-time jobs, needed to borrow the money to get started, and literally 2 years later was able to let go of all the jobs and has been traveling the world. So she was in Bucharest with us.
Hi everybody. Hello. Guys, wow, Bucharest was really just something else. Mark was on fire in a way that, being with the company for almost 6 years now, I have never seen him this much on fire ever. And as Efrosini said, there were some things that we'd heard as leaders that we've just never ever heard before. And I want to share a couple of those things with you. So the first thing is the difference between optimism, and perhaps we've been around a while, we're justifying our cynic mindset with being realistic. And what I'd actually realized is, somehow along the journey, you know, I'd seen a lot of quitters, I'd seen a lot of people stab other people in the back, and I just started not really liking people anymore. And in this business, if you don't have a love for people, you're just not going to make it. So for me, it was suddenly that aha moment of, hey, I need to just fall back in love with people. I need to go ahead and start trusting them again. And I need to just start building with optimism. Like when I get up in the morning and I'm going to do all of these invites, I've got to have that expectation of, hey, they're going to be so excited to see this with me. And hey, I do expect them to get started, because this is the only chance that they're probably ever going to get in their life of a true taste of success. And I've had that amazing lifestyle with the company. So I, of all people, should know that, hey, this is the best it's ever going to get for you if you say yes. So with that whole new mindset, I've literally come out of this training. I've done more personal presentations than I've done since I first got started. Like this month, I'm about to hit my target, and I did the numbers. Most top network marketers put in 30 personal sales a year. In order to get 30 personal sales a year, you need to do an average of 300 personal presentations in a year. That's if your conversion ratio is 10%. So I just figured out, hey, if I just make sure I stick to that goal of showing one person a day, then that's going to be awesome. But what if I increase it and do 3 personal presentations a day? Then that means if I look at my results a year from now, they're guaranteed to be huge based on everything that all network marketers in the world are doing. And then the other aha moment that I had, this is just the last one, which for me just blew my mind, is what expectations am I putting on my team? Well, actually, Mark has said it every single time he sat down with a new team member, would say to them, hey, Do you see yourself leading a team of 1,000 people? Now, according to Mark said, and most people say yes to that, we're looking for the people that have the confidence and go ahead and say yes to that. Those are the people that we really want to work with. And he sets the expectations right there. He says, okay, for the next 30 days, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you all my time for the next 30 days. But the second you stop putting people in front of me, I'm out there looking for somebody else, for a new person who's going to be doing that, and I'll be running with them instead. So I realized I wasn't really having that conversation with the people I was putting into my business. I wasn't setting the expectation of, hey, I expect you to be a leader here. These are the personas I expect you to bring with me, and this is what I expect you to duplicate with your team. So I believe now, and I think you guys can see I've got this huge fire. I feel like the lion inside of me. I feel like the business is really about to have a massive shift for myself and all of us that we're acceleration. So hey, back over to you, FSE.
So guys, you can tell from her energy, and it's been a pretty crazy week. We had close to about 1,800 people at Acceleration. 1,600 people were from our team, to give you an idea. So there's some huge fires going on right now all around Europe. Now, I want to give you 2 more points before we wrap things up. Here's one thing that I know some of you really need to listen to this, especially if you're presenting at travel parties. One of the main things that Mark said, he goes, you got to keep it brief. You got to keep it simple, okay? Because that's the only way to be duplicatable. And here's what you're going to look at. If you're doing a presentation that's going longer than 30, 35 minutes, you're saying too much. And I'm talking about a travel party presentation. I'm not talking about a 2-on-1. Travel party presentations, if they're going on longer than 30 to 35 minutes, you're saying way too much, okay? Keep it brief. How many of you can honestly say, okay, and answer this? I'm going to ask one of you guys, type it on the chat. How many of you understood every single detail about World Ventures and all the benefits when you signed up? If you say yes, I'll be very surprised. How many of you didn't understand much when you first saw? Okay? Nope. Hell no. So there you go. Okay. Everybody is saying no. Okay. So why are you so committed to helping people understand everything to get a decision? They don't need to understand everything to make a decision. The number one thing that people buy is you, okay? That's the number one thing that people buy. The second thing is, okay, that they buy. I always focus on the training and the tools. It took me 5 presentations to realize we have a concierge. I like that. To give you an idea, guys, when I saw the presentation 8.5 years ago, here's what I understood. It's travel and it's got passive income. I mean, that's all I understood. In fact, I got my first 9 personal sales very fast in 24 hours. You know, I know that's not typical, but I went fast. And I didn't even know how to put people in the system. I didn't even know how the money worked. I didn't understand the left or the right thing, okay? I didn't understand anything. I just understood passive income and travel. And it's a few $100. I mean, okay? So that's what you got to remember, okay? People are going to buy you first. Are you building excitement? Are you building enthusiasm? Are you building some vision? The travel, honestly, this is how I'm presenting the travel. Smart card, yes, cool, okay, but the smart card is one of the parts of our ecosystem. The smart card should never be the pitch, okay? If, let's say, for example, this is an iPhone, okay? I love iPhones. Anybody that knows me, I'm an Apple fan, not a Samsung. If I sit there, okay, and I'm pitching an iPhone, okay, but I'm focusing, instead of the iPhone, I'm actually focusing on the calendar. I'm not really pitching iPhone. I'm not. I'm pitching the calendar. Calendar is one of the benefits, Okay, the iPhone is the key. The Dream Trips membership is the key. The calendar, the Siri, and all that stuff. Okay, this is the thing that is a part of it. Okay, it's part of the ecosystem. So here's the thing that you got to sit there and look at. Tell them the basics, and when you're presenting to prospects, especially when you've got your team with you, guys, be a parrot, okay? Be a parrot. Repeat the same things over and over again, because when you repeat the same things, you're easier to duplicate. Anybody that's seen me present will always know that at the beginning of the presentation, I just share my story, me being skeptical, me being time broke, wanting to travel but no time to travel. So essentially, what am I doing? I'm connecting with the audience and I'm letting them know that I was time broke. Anybody in the room that is time broke can relate to that, okay? So all of a sudden, it doesn't become about it for sin. It becomes of, hey, if someone is time broke, I should listen to this as well. And before I start the presentation, I go, look, some of you right now, you might have plenty of time. But what if some of you right now might be open to an additional income stream? What if some of you right now are living from paycheck to paycheck? Okay. Now, I wasn't broke when I saw World Ventures, but here's the crazy thing. I had 40,000 pounds of credit card debt when I saw World Ventures. I was broke. I didn't know I was broke. But when you got credit card debt, that is ridiculous, right? So this is the thing, okay, that when you say this at the beginning, I'm not telling everybody, of course, I had 40,000 pounds of credit card debt, but essentially I'm opening up their mind that whether right now you're time broke, maybe financially you're challenged, this could be the vehicle if I'm presenting from stage. So it's always sharing a little bit of the story. The whole reason I'm sharing the story is not to turn around and go, hey, let me tell you about me. Who cares about you? It's not about you. But the only reason you're sharing part of your story, okay, is purely to connect with the audience, to get people in the audience to say, me too. Now, people in the audience, you might be a 2-on-1, okay, or a 1-on-1 and using a 3-way call. Now, here's the thing. If you're doing 1-on-1s, you're not using 3-way calls, guys, you're missing the crucial part of the business. Now, some of you are sitting here going, but Efrosina, I don't need to use a 3-way because I know how to answer the questions. It's not about that. 3 questions people are thinking when they see World Ventures. Is this simple? Does it work? Can I do this? Okay? And essentially, the can I do this is also part of the will you help me? If you're sitting there, you're doing the presentation from start to finish by yourself, you know what most people are thinking? Well, it looks good, but if it's so big, where's everybody else? Or, I don't know if I can do what they're doing to go out and show the video to people. I'm quite shy. But if you're doing a 2-on-1 and you've got someone that's your expert there, and I'm telling you guys, even if they're not your expert, it might not be someone in your upline. It might be a sideline. It might be downline. I use my people in my team to support me with exposure sometimes. Why? Because it's my opportunity to train them at the same time. But essentially, having someone else there, you're showing them that you're part of a team and you're part of a support structure, and I'm here to help you win. Okay, and I literally, when I'm doing 2-on-1s, okay, and let's say Melanie's got a guest and we're doing a 2-on-1, I literally look at her guest and I tell them, hey, look, how much work has Melanie done? She invited you. She introduced you to me and I'm doing the work. She's going to get paid. Now, can you do what Melanie did? So that's part of the closing, because when they're sitting there going, man, this is simple. I could do this. Okay, when they're thinking that, that's how you're going to create duplication and speed, and your conversion ratio is going to go up. So you got to keep it simple, okay? You got to keep it duplicatable. If you're sitting there saying different things every time, it's very hard for your team to duplicate you. So 3-step setup essentially at the beginning. I love push and play. I'm not telling you need to push play, but I love push and play because it's duplicatable. Some people say to me, push and play doesn't give people enough information. Well, you just figured out right now from watching this how many people didn't understand everything anyway. They don't. They need to understand enough to make a decision, okay? And the third thing is in terms of the closing. Now, I know we're running out of time. I don't have a lot of time to go into the closing, guys, but if you don't have Advantage, get Advantage. There's literally on Advantage, guys, it's the biggest library of the best training materials for World Ventures. And if closing is one of your development areas, just go and search closing on the Advantage. Listen to as many audios from the Advantage as possible. Literally everything that I've learned over the last 9 years, I would love to take credit from it, but I've either borrowed it from one of the trainers for World Ventures, borrowed it from one of the audios, and I've said it so many times, I actually believe it's my stuff, okay? So my recommendation moving forward, okay, get back on fire, fall in love with the game, get back into your optimistic stage where you expect everybody to sign up, but use your knowledge to understand that not everybody's ready to see it or get it at this point in time. If you go out there and you spend the next week, it's now Saturday, our week starts on a Saturday, it finishes on a Friday night. If you spend the next 7 days, and I'm telling you, do more presentations this week than you've done before, you're going to create a new story this week. And a new story creates a new chapter. Some of you, okay, are waiting for things to happen, but in this business, if you want to get ahead, you got to make things happen. Stop buying into your own excuses. The one thing we all have in common, everybody has 24 hours in a day. What you do with it is what's going to determine the quality of life that you lead. Even if you work 8 hours a day, and even if you sleep 8 hours a day, you still got 8 hours a day in order to build your legacy. What you do 9 to 5, guys, is going to give you the paycheck, it's going to give you security. What you do from 5 to 9, that's what's going to give you freedom. That's what's going to give you your legacy. That's what's going to give you the quality of life that most people cannot enjoy because they're too busy being in survival mode. And when you're busy being in survival mode, you're definitely not thriving. Do you want to survive or do you want to thrive? It's all up to you. Get booked for momentum, get set with Advantage, start listening to the audios, and go out and do more presentations this week than you've done in a long, long time. If anything, if ever, and if you've done these, reach out to me personally on Facebook, okay? If you go out and you do more presentations this week than you've ever done before, reach out, send me a private message on Facebook, and I'm going to reply to literally to every single one, and I'll set you your next challenge to help you build your story. So when momentum comes, instead of sitting there going, man, this is so cool, I wish I had more people here, momentum comes, you're going to be one of the people that is walking the stage, sharing the new story that you created. So have an amazing week, guys. Make it count. See you in Auckland. See you in Athens. See you on the beaches of the world.